The Ascent of Emperor Palpatine, self-proclaimed Sitha'ri or the Sith Chosen One, is a tale steeped in prophecy, resonating through the annals of both Jedi and Sith lore. Approximately 900 years before Palpatine's birth, the prophetic visions of a Jedi Master foretold his rise and the pivotal role he would play in the galaxy's fate. Another key figure who foresaw Palpatine's emergence was Darth Tenebrous. Renowned for his supreme intellect, Tenebrous peered into the future and saw the looming shadow of Palpatine, a presence that promised to bring an end to many established paradigms and cast the galaxy into darkness. Unlike figures such as Darth Vader, General Grievous, Count Dooku, or Darth Maul, Palpatine's turn to darkness cannot be attributed to a troubled or tragic past. His early life, marked by privilege, paints a picture of a character whose descent into evil was not driven by external circumstance, but by an intrinsic allure to the dark side. This video delves into Palpatine's early life, shedding light on his initial encounters with the dark side and the chilling event that would solidify his commitment to the Sith Creed, the brutal murder of his entire family. Born into the esteemed House Palpatine on the idyllic world of Naboo, the future Emperor was the eldest offspring of Kasinga Palpatine and his wife. The ancestral home of Palpatine's family was nestled in Naboo's Lake Country, a region renowned for its breathtaking landscapes. Sheev Palpatine's early life was shared with at least 4 siblings, 2 brothers and 2 sisters, in this historic and aristocratic setting. House Palpatine was recognized for its conservative and isolationist stance, setting it apart from the more prominent and affluent royal houses of Naboo. According to Naboo's mythology, House Palpatine was described as one of the 6 impenetrable gates guarding Naboo against chaos. Palpatine's childhood was therefore marked by the dual influences of his family's isolationist tendencies and their historical role as protectors of Naboo's order. Yet Palpatine's early life was marked by a profound sense of self-awareness and ambition, setting him apart from his family on Naboo. This sense of exceptionalism created an undercurrent of tension within the Palpatine household, particularly with his father Kasinga. Palpatine's intelligence and ambition drove him to envision a more prominent and proactive role for House Palpatine in the politics of Naboo. He saw potential for his family not only to increase their wealth and power, but also to aid their homeworld in adapting to the evolving dynamics of the galaxy at large. However, his aspirations quickly collided with the reality of his family's isolationist stance. Palpatine came to believe that his father lacked both the vision and the capability to elevate their family's status. Sheev Palpatine's disdain extended to his mother as well, whom he resented for her passive acceptance of the family's stagnant status. Palpatine's fascination with the ancient Sith also began during this time. Using his family's considerable wealth, he delved into the black market, seeking out runes and other ancient texts that held secrets of the Sith. With each new discovery, each artifact he acquired, Palpatine found himself increasingly captivated by the dark secrets they revealed to him. He recognized in these ancient Sith teachings the key to achieving his grand ambition, the attainment of absolute power. But despite his interest in acquiring knowledge and his education at some of the galaxy's most esteemed academies, his tenure at each institution was marred by a pattern of misdemeanors, leading to several expulsions. These transgressions, although often minor, accumulated into a record that would have seen any average citizen punished. However, Palpatine, as the heir to a noble house, was shielded by his father's influence and wealth. Growing up in an environment where monetary power was wielded to sidestep consequences, Palpatine quickly discarded conventional moral principles. Despite his disdain for his father, Palpatine and Kasinga shared certain traits and interests, most notably a love for speed racing. Palpatine fondly remembered a time when his father gifted him an advanced prototype speeder. Their shared experiences in the cockpit were rare moments when Palpatine viewed his father positively. However, this bond was tainted by a tragedy when Palpatine, in a reckless moment, crashed the speeder, resulting in the death of 2 pedestrians. But true to form, Kasinga used his influence to shield his son from the consequences, an action that only deepened Palpatine's sense of untouchability and lack of remorse. In the wake of this incident, Palpatine's insensitivity and self-centered nature was starkly evident. He saw this accident not as a moment for reflection, but as an opportunity to declare his ambition to become a professional speeder racer. Kasinga's initial ban on speeder racing, a feeble attempt at discipline, was short-lived. Palpatine's relentless tantrums eventually wore his father down, leading to a reluctant concession. Palpatine's subsequent success in competitive racing was a testament to his skill, but did little to satiate his broader ambitions, which were just beginning to take shape. His family's social standing opened doors to high-profile connections, including aristocrats and government officials. But driven by a mix of personal pride and a desire to see Naboo integrate into the galactic community, Palpatine covertly sought to undermine his father's political agenda during the election. In a daring move, Palpatine leaked confidential information about the murky involvement of certain royal houses, including his own, in Naboo's politics. This act of political sabotage catapulted Palpatine into the notice of a much more formidable figure, Darth Plagueis the Wise. Plagueis, known publicly as Hago Damask, was a powerful banker and political lobbyist who had benefited from Palpatine's machinations. Plagueis, intrigued by the audacity and effectiveness of the young Palpatine's political maneuvering, decided to personally meet the one who had unwittingly aided his agenda. Disguised in his public persona, Plagueis arrived on Naboo and made his way to Theed University. His search led him to the youth program's headquarters on the university campus, where he encountered Palpatine. Despite being aware of Plagueis' distinguished reputation, Palpatine initially displayed an air of indifference, a testament to his inherent self-assuredness. However, with subtle persuasion, Plagueis convinced Palpatine to show him around Theed. This tour provided Plagueis with valuable insights into Palpatine's character and interests. He observed Palpatine's cautious admission of his political ambitions and the disparity in political ideologies between Palpatine and his father. One intriguing aspect for Plagueis was his inability to discern Palpatine's deeper thoughts through the Force, a rarity that further fueled his curiosity about the young nobleman. By the day's end, sensing potential in Palpatine, Plagueis made a calculated proposal, offering Palpatine the role of a spy for Damask Holdings. The objective was to ensure that a politician named Tapalo was elected as the King of Naboo, as this aligned with Plagueis' Sith-driven interests. Palpatine, shrewd and ambitious, agreed to the offer. However, the conflict between Kasinga Palpatine and his son escalated dramatically upon Kasinga's discovery of the latter's association with Hago Damask. Concerned about the influence Damask might have on his son, Kasinga attempted to sever their connection. Kasinga's efforts to intimidate Plagueis into cutting ties with his son proved futile. When Plagueis informed the younger Palpatine of these attempts, he reacted with fury. Feeling cornered and desperate, he sought Damask's counsel, unwittingly opening himself up to further manipulation. Damask, recognizing the potential within Palpatine and sensing his vulnerability, subtly encouraged him to take whatever measures necessary to break free from his father's control. The situation reached a critical point when Kasinga personally travelled to Chandrila, bringing the entire family along to retrieve Palpatine. The intention was clear: to remove Palpatine from Damask's influence and take him away from the political theatre of Naboo during the crucial election period. Kasinga's plan involved sending his son to another planet, where he would be under the supervision of another noble family. However, as the family's yacht departed the spaceport, a heated confrontation ensued between Kasinga and the young Palpatine. This confrontation aboard the yacht, a simmering cauldron of long-suppressed animosity between Kasinga and his son, reached a boiling point when Kasinga shockingly confessed his desire to have killed Sheev Palpatine when he was a baby. This admission ignited a volcanic eruption of repressed anger and resentment within the young Palpatine, who, in that critical moment, instinctively tapped into the dark side of the Force. With an unspoken command, he unleashed a telekinetic wave that sent his father crashing against the ship's bulkhead with a violent force. Kasinga, nursing a painfully injured shoulder and his face etched with a mix of surprise and fear, appeared cornered and vulnerable, his authoritative facade crumbling away. With no physical gesture, Palpatine manipulated the Force to twist Kasinga round violently, causing him to fall over a chair, his face blooded from the impact. Palpatine stood motionless, his hands trembling, a mix of shock and realization dawning on his face. His eyes, glowing with an incandescent rage, betrayed a tumult of emotions and the awakening of a sinister, previously untapped potential. The chaos within the confines of the yacht soon escalated rapidly. On the floor, Kasinga Palpatine, bloodied and broken, struggled to his knees, fear etched across his face as he began a frantic retreat. Kasinga, in a raspy and terrified voice, condemned the Force that had given birth to such a power inside his son. "If the Force birthed you, then I curse it," he uttered in a mix of fear and despair. The hatch to the room eventually began to slide open, revealing one of the Palpatine's guards. He urgently called for a halt to the violence, but the situation had already spiraled beyond control. Palpatine turned his wrath upon the surprised guard who had just entered the cabin. With a forceful gesture, he flung the guard across the room, his actions driven by a newfound dark authority. Raising his voice in a shout that resonated with ominous finality, Palpatine declared, "We are all in this now." Palpatine used the Force to smash his father's head against a wall, the concussive force killing him. He then turned on his mother, using the dark side to force choke her until she passed away. But the murder of his mother and father was only the beginning of Palpatine's rampage. His 2 younger brothers and 2 sisters, innocent and defenseless, became the next victims of his unrestrained power. One by one, Palpatine annihilated them, wielding his dark side abilities with a ruthless efficiency that left no room for mercy or remorse. With his entire family wiped out, Palpatine stood amidst the carnage, the sole survivor and inheritor of the House of Palpatine's legacy. In the aftermath of this heinous act, he reached out to Darth Plagueis. Plagueis, recognizing the potential in Palpatine and the significance of what had transpired, assured him that the massacre would remain a secret. He meticulously arranged for all evidence of the crime to be eradicated and for Palpatine's return to Chandrila, ensuring that no trace of his involvement in the destruction of his own family would ever be discovered. Plagueis, recognizing the significance of this moment, later referred to it as the point of Palpatine's true transformation into Darth Sidious. It was an act that not only severed his ties to the past, but also solidified his path towards the dark side, setting the stage for his rise to power as one of the most formidable Sith Lords to ever exist in the galaxy.